You are inspiring. You may not feel like it, you may not think anyone notices, you might not even have been acknowledged in a while. Maybe even worse, you may have been criticized. But I'm here to tell you that you are inspiring. Good to see you. I'm Dr. Wes, clinical psychologist and advocate for your well-being. When I say you are inspiring, you might ask, well, how do you know that, Dr. Wes? Maybe I've been a self-centered taker all of my life, to which I say, that's not you, because you would not be interested in watching this video if that were the case. You know what it is to be inspired by others, you know how motivating that has been in your life, and you have experienced the satisfaction of seeing another person inspired by you. Inspiration is important to you. And there is the highest probability that someone out there has been inspired by you, and I'm here to remind you of that. Now, we inspire people in many ways. By going before them in life and providing a pathway that they can see and follow, we can create opportunity for people. Now, not everyone capitalizes on that opportunity, but some do, and their lives are the better for it. We can be an example that achieving something difficult is possible despite the challenges that are in the way. Some months ago, I was having dinner with friends, Chad and his wife, Melissa. During the meal, Chad was talking to me about the Eastern European country of Ukraine, which, as of this recording, is at war, fighting for its survival. When the meal was over, Chad posed the question, Dr. Wes, if I pulled together a team of specialists to travel to Ukraine to help refugees and chaplains and pastors deal with the trauma and stress that they were facing, would you be willing to be part of that team? And I responded by saying, are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? Don't you know there's a war going on there? No, just kidding. I didn't say that at all. I said, Chad, count me in. When do we leave? You see, Chad was providing a pathway. He was creating an opportunity to be a part of a team of skilled workers who would go and help in a place where there was serious need. When you think about your life, you have provided pathways for people to follow in your footsteps. I'm not saying that you've been the perfect model for how to do it exactly right, but the good news is that we often inspire people because we are not models of perfection. We don't always get it right in the beginning. Most of my life, I have bumbled my way forward. I'm sure there have been people who have looked at me and said, well, if bumbling Beavis can do it, maybe I can too. You see, you don't need to be perfect to be an inspiration. A lot of times being imperfect has more inspirational value to others. So last month, with Chad leading the team of specialists, I headed off to Ukraine, a war-torn and life-transforming part of the world. Now, getting to where we needed to be in Ukraine was an ordeal. Given the conditions of war, there are no flights into the country. So we flew into Poland. Thank you very much. And then we took vans, trains, and more vans to get the rest of the way. I got to say that train was pretty comfortable. I can't remember exactly, but we traveled around 12 hours on that train. We even had the benefit of sleeper cabins, 4 beds in a space of about 35 square feet. Here's John. He was super proficient in speaking Russian and knew enough Ukrainian to keep us all out of trouble. He is an example that achieving something difficult is possible despite the challenges.
Я на втором языке разговаривать, я прошу прощения, но...
Learning a foreign language as an adult is a formidable effort, yet John persevered and gained a proficiency that was essential to the success of our mission. He taught us some rudimentary Ukrainian. Dobry den, which means hello, and budlashka, which means you're welcome. To all my Ukrainian friends, forgive me for not doing a good job of pronouncing your language. My language specialty is Australian. For example, she'll be right, mate, which in American means be at peace. It's all going to work out. There is a saying that every winner was once a beginner. We tend to forget that. And as you have gone through your life, you have developed proficiencies that you begin to take for granted. You think, it's no big deal. Anyone can do it. But that's not true. There are tons of people out there that look at what you do and are inspired by you. In fact, you probably have no idea who you are inspiring right now, but you are. Allow me to affirm you in the Australian language. Good on you, which in America means keep up the good work. When you go out of your way to help people, that can inspire them. The town that we set up camp was deep into Ukrainian territory. It was a smaller town where there were lots of homes from the Soviet era. And the Soviets seemed to have a favorite set of architectural plans because a lot of these multi-story apartment buildings all look the same. The people of this town hardly had any tourists, even in the best of time. And to have a team come 7,000 miles to their town during a war, they were super grateful.
Thank you for coming and for being kind for Ukraine. It's a big deal to be here, especially during the war, because it's not easy to come here. Thank you again. It's a big deal for us.
We spent days training on the subjects of trauma, chronic stress, burnout, grief, and resiliency factors.
In a moment of crisis, the body releases adrenaline into the bloodstream.
В час кризи, в такі моменти наше тіло виділяє адреналін у кров.
But the reality was that as much as we were inspiring them, they were inspiring us. And that's how inspiration can work. It can flow both ways. Preparing food packages for the refugees of Ukraine. Wow, that was a life-transforming experience. We prepared food packages for about 200 families. This is Ivan.
Давайте подякуємо нашій перекладачці.
He's the director of the seminary that hosted us. When he is not organizing food for refugees, he is busy helping professors train students to be chaplains, pastors, youth leaders, and humanitarian aid workers. What an inspiring guy. These refugees patiently waited for 2 hours to receive $10 worth of food. I've never been displaced from my home due to any war. I can only imagine how traumatic that would be. And yet, the gratefulness that these refugees expressed for $10 worth of food was both humbling and inspiring. As I helped hand out the food packages, I was inspired never to complain about my first world food problems ever again, like telling my restaurant server that my soup was not as hot as what I like it. So as I land this plane in an inspiring way, let me give you 3 ways that you can be inspiring to others. Number 1. Be adventurous. I'm not asking you to go to a war-torn country, but there are lots of interesting places where you can go, where you can learn about their culture and develop the Indiana Jones adventurer within you. I believe an interesting person is an inspiring person. So get out of your comfort zone and go somewhere interesting. Experience the thrills and spills of travel. Being adventurous will give you some stories that will inspire others to get out of their comfort zone. Mission trips are awesome for developing the adventurer within you. Number 2, care about others untransactionally. What do I mean when I say untransactionally? What I'm saying is don't turn your caring for people into a transaction. I will care for you if you care for me in return. No, don't get caught up in that trap of caring for others, hoping that they will return the favor. Just care for people wherever and whenever you can. When people see how much you care for others, you will inspire them to start doing the same. Now, keep in mind, you won't inspire everyone, but you will inspire someone. And I would say a lot of someones. And lining up for a great landing, number 3. Override your difficulties. The most inspirational people are the ones who overcome substantial difficulties to achieve things. Take my friend and team leader Chad as an example. What you don't know about Chad is that he suffers from an interstitial lung condition. His lungs are impacted by scarring, and it reduces his ability to oxygenate his body. His lung capacity is around 40%, and that's on a good day. Most of the time, Chad carries around an oxygen machine, and you can see it here. And here, as we cross the Ukraine-Poland border on foot. There's Chad leading the team with his oxygen machine slung over his shoulder. Without him, and I know Chad would say his wife Melissa is a huge part of his strength as a leader, and she sure is. Melissa is amazing. But without Chad, we would not have had the chance of a lifetime in being part of this mission that he dreamed up and that he led. Chad is truly inspiring. And I want to give a big shout out to the other team specialists, Devon, Mick, John, Josh, and Stephanie. They were awesome. And when you go on an adventure with others, you inspire each other to do even better than what you can do alone. Thanks, team. I loved our time together. So don't live to be admired, because you'll never get enough. Live so that others are inspired, and there's no limit to that. This could be good for you. I'm Dr. Wes. Here's to making life better.